All right. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. Hey, let me know if you can hear me. I'm out and about today. I'm out and about catching up with a friend this morning for a bit of coffee. Hey, down at the beach. If you can see across the road there, in Broad Beach, I think I am, or somewhere like that. Anyway, I'm out and about for Wealth Coffee Chats today. Thought I'd do it on the road. Nice coffee, beautiful coffee. Morning to all of you guys. Let me know if everything's coming through fine at your end. Can you hear me? Tim's all the way from Rocky. Awesome. Kevin, good morning to you. Kylie, Tim, Alison. Hey, great to see you guys. James, awesome to have you on for another Wealth Coffee Chat this morning, folks. Great to be out and about, actually. Out of the little studio, my little studio, and out and catching up with somebody. So yeah, for me later on, a bit of breakfast, but for right now, I thought we'd catch up and make sure we have a good conversation this morning. I think I forgot to update the headline anyway, but that's all right. The same headlines from yesterday for Fenton. How did Fenton go? Let me know. Did Fenton do all right? I asked him to fill in yesterday on Wealth Coffee Chats, and I think he did a pretty good job. I heard he talked a bit of sense. Fenton and I have been doing some things together for a while now. We've got a new, fresh relaunch of Wealth, Wine and Wisdom coming up soon, folks. He's had some time off being a new parent, and Fenton. He's going to be refreshed in 2 weeks' time. Not next week, the week after. So that could be 3 weeks' time. But anyway, 3 Fridays' time. Yeah, well, there you go, Alison. You're going to get your wish. We're going to be back, and we're going to be bigger and better than ever with Wealth, Wine and Wisdom on a Friday afternoon. But for right now, folks, we've got our Wealth Coffee Chats this morning. And for anyone who is new, let us know in the chat. Jason Linton's my name. If you don't already know, most of you do. We've been doing these Wealth Coffee Chats for a little while now, and each morning we catch up early. Early bird gets the worm. Early-ish for me, anyway. I don't know about you guys in the southern states, but get a coffee and think about our wealth, our portfolio. We do it every day. Tell me, folks, in the chat, how many people do you know? How many people do you know wake up every day, get their stuff organized, get their stuff done, and then spend 20 minutes every work day, like you and me are doing, thinking about our wealth, thinking about our property portfolio? How many people do you know? How many people in the world do you know that do that, right? Just appreciate, not enough, totally, Tim, because this is an interesting conversation. I'm going to talk about the conversation today. You know, there's actually one reason. I've been thinking about this for a long time. There's one reason most people don't get wealthy. What do you guys think that is? Chuck that in the chat. What's the number one reason? And I've thought about this for a long time, because by and large, it's pretty straightforward and simple. It is. It's pretty straightforward and simple. PRE regulars do all the time, that's for sure, Alison. And we do that. Like, this is why we have a thing called lifetime mentoring. It's not 12 months mentoring. You know, you go to the gurus out there and, in 12 months, I'll teach you everything you need to know. Bullshit. You don't know diddly shit in 12 months. You don't know whether you're alpha or marfa, right? Especially when it comes to wealth creation. You're hardly even scratching the surface. That's why we call this thing lifetime mentoring. What do you think the number one reason is that people don't get wealthy? And there's a fair few people who start. There's a fair few people who think about it. Mindset. Yep. And it's attached to mindset, this kind of pontification, discovery comment that I'm going to say. Yeah, the gonna do's, Brendan. the gonna do's and the shoulda dones, eh? He's a gunner. Right, the gonna do's. Well, let me tell you what I think. Yeah, fear of the unknown. Yeah. And all of those things I think are a part of the challenge for sure, not being consistent. You know, the number one reason that I see, and then I put this out here, habit. Yeah, habit's a good one. Number one reason that I see that people do not get wealthy is their unrealistic time frame. Right, unrealistic. Right. So I see it all the time. Oh, listen, yeah, discipline, totally, all that sort of stuff. These things, for sure. But the big one that no one wants to talk about, no one wants to appreciate and realize, no one wants to really own, is that it takes bloody time, folks. It takes time. Discipline, totally. Discipline, tick. Good mindset, tick. Great knowledge, tick. Discovery, self-learning, all of these things, tick, tick, tick. But the time frame that most investors focus on is the problem. Right. One thing doesn't work out and then they do a runner. Exactly. It didn't work. What didn't work? One thing. But, if you approach life like that, how would you be? I was gonna do this thing called walking as a baby. I had a go at it once. I fell down. Fuck that. I'm not going to do that anymore. You know what? Seriously. Come on, folks. Right. So, time frame. Tell me in the chat. What's the time frame? What's the time frame people talk about? What's the time frame people talk about often in wealth creation with you guys? What's the conversation? So tell me, how long? What do people talk about? Educated, uneducated. They talk 10 to 15 years. Yep, 10 to 15. Right. Okay, cool. And that might be someone who's actually got a bit of an idea. Perisha, right? Tell me, what's the time frame that uneducated people, maybe the get-rich-quickers, talk about, folks? What are they doing? Yeah, it's very short term, Gary. You're dead right. And Luke's in there, right? Okay, I like 15 to 20 years, right? Yep, absolutely, right. The get-rich-quickers, they're like, oh, how can I in the next 12 months, stop work, get rich, blah, blah, blah. Yep. Anything under 10 years in the world of real estate, you're just kidding yourself. You're joking, right? You're joking. You're kidding. Time frame. But, I want to connect this conversation 2 to 3 cycles. And Luke, on average, you get a cycle in Australia every 9 to 12 years, right? So let's do that. Let's just say it's a 10-year cycle time frame. Team, we're even short on our conversations, right? Okay. First cycle, 10 years. Second cycle, 10 years. Third cycle, this is where you get wealthy, right? That is where the wealth is. In the third 10-year cycle, right? That is where the wealth is. That's the wealth. That's where you've got to be if you want to get wealthy. And for me, what I've realized is you've got to not confuse, as a property investor, getting started getting momentum, like you can get momentum and do some cool things in 12 months for sure. You could buy 2 or 3 properties in 12 months. You could, change your trajectory. You could save for a deposit. You could renovate a house. There's all sorts of stuff you could do in 12 months, but you won't get wealthy with property investing in too short a time frame. Now, part of the conversation today, which I didn't put in the headline or the thing that you send out in the internet. I don't know what it's called now. Headline. Anyway, I'm off topic. Part of the conversation about this is, or why this sparked, right? Check this out, team. Our life expectancy has risen in Australia. Ladies going to live till 85 years old. Men are going to live on average to 81. So let's go back here. Let's go back here and say, on average, let's just say average, folks, average, my investors start investing, getting their dollars mojo on average, around the age of 35 to 40. All right? That's on average in our database. All right? That's the common time frame, right? So the investor, what's the time frame? What's the age that age of investor is looking at right now? So around that age, like there are some younger. Yeah, thanks, Luke Banner. I was just having a mental blank. I was like, I can't even think. There's a few trucks and stuff around. Sorry about the noise. Right. So what age do you think they are looking at for some destination, or like, I'm done? Like, what age are they saying, all right, that's it? Yeah, boom, right? So they're looking 60 to 65, all right? So can you guys see the problem here? Can you see the problem? What these people aren't looking at is actually, yeah, trucks and birds, that's out of an controlled environment. Every single person, check it out, team, is looking at the wrong age, is looking at the wrong time frame, okay? This is the time frame of 20 years, but what's the time frame we should be mentally focusing on and making sure we understand? There you go. Gary's going to live fast and die young. Hey, Gary? There you go. Too much KFC. I love it, mate. So this is the thing. We're not focusing on the right age. We're not focusing in our investment conversations on, and then, arguably a lot of people are going to live even further than that. You're dead right, Alison. So if we're talking about money, and money is part about, there's some certain achievements along the way you're looking to take and do and whatever. If we're looking at that, folks, then we're looking too short. We're focusing too short. We're worrying too much about short-term things. But the real value in our conversation is this one. I need to be awesome and well and super wealthy at age 80, because then I can pass it on, right? So we should be talking about 40 years. That's what we should be talking about, right? We should be talking about 40 years when it comes to our conversation in this way. And, just thinking about that, tell me in the chat, you go, right, okay, I get it. Generational wealth. You're dead right, Alison. Okay, how does that make you feel? Like, tell me in the chat. Like, I don't know if this is landing for you as much as it's landing for me, right? If I'm sitting here and I'm 45 years old and right now interest rates have gone up a little bit, am I dramatizing? Or if my vision is to vision 80, like, how am I feeling? I'm like, it's fine. It's going to be fine. Like, so what? I've got 30 more years of compounding value, compounding growth and wealth in my future. Hey, actually, I'm pretty excited about. I'm still pretty excited. I'm pumped. mindset. Yeah, it extends the cycle. And I think that, for me, is actually going to be a lot I want to teach next year. Andy Fenton and I are really working with a lot of people in what we're calling exit plans, right? Exit plans, generational wealth, okay? And we're pretty excited about that. Absolutely, Tim. Give your kids a kickstart, for sure. That's what I'm planning on doing. Put some resources and wealth into things that, I think are worth doing around the world. I pay it forward with education. I build schools. I know a lot of people who are, supporting preserving wildlife or helping with, things that they're passionate about, all of those sorts of things. And Luke, that's awesome. My wife and I, Shay, we have family meetings once a month with our children about our family wealth, what responsibilities we have about our family wealth, and what we do about it, and how we use that wealth to better the world, not just buy another damn toy, right? And we've been doing that with our children for many, many years. So, generational wealth, what's the future look like? And you know what? This is interesting. I got this the other day. I'll chuck that back up there. I found this newspaper article, a unit in Cronulla, all right? And this was in 1968. You can't see it there. 1968. A unit in Cronulla. You could have bought a unit in Cronulla with a water view across the ocean, across the road from the beach. 1968 for $11,990. Yep. Thanks, Brendan. Right. So, yeah. Like, who wouldn't want a unit across the beach across the road from the beach in Cronulla for $12,000? Anyone want one of those? So this person, let's say 1968. Now it's 50 years later. 50 years later. Now I did a valuation on this. I think it was in 2018. I'll take 5 exactly, Alison. 2018, it was worth 908,000. Right? Work out the return on that, folks. Now, as close as I can get it, like that area is worth like 1.2 to 1.4. The Shire's goodness, exactly, Brendan. Work out the return on that, folks. Work out the 50-year return on that one. 50 years. 50 years of growth and value. It's a pretty good return. You reckon this person, if they still owned it, they've knocked that old building down and they've built another building in its place right there. You can see that building, right? But if that person still owned that property 50 years later, do you think they would give a rat's ass about the interest rates going up? What do you reckon? Their debt would have been paid out 20 years ago, right? Like, seriously, team? That is the number one reason that I believe most people aren't wealthy, because their time frame their mind is not set on the right time frame when it comes to creating their wealth. Look at this. This is interesting. I saw a little chart extrapolating out. You weren't even born yet, exactly. Right, extrapolating out. If we extrapolate out now by the median house growth of the last 25 years into the future, if you owned a house in Sydney today and the average house price is something like $1.4 million, check it out, team. By 2043, like, can you even comprehend like that mentally? Like, I'm like, what the, even if it's 4 million, it's still going to be pretty damn fine, right? So, and units and apartments, you go, all right, Melbourne units, right? Check it out, Brizzy units, I think Brizzy will absolutely like smash that by a million miles. Anyway, that was interesting. So there you go. Takeaway for today. I think for many of us right now, we should be resetting our understanding, our vision of the time frame that we are committing to the future. patience, mindset, whatever. Don't let the short term put you off, right? Is the takeaway today. But there you go. Hopefully that was useful. It landed for me. I thought I'd share it with you guys. Wealth Coffee Chat done and dusted. Great to have some time to hang out with you guys. Join me next week around about the same time, exactly on the same bat channel, for another Wealth Coffee Chat at 8:10 Queensland, 9:10 East Coast, and wherever else on the rest of the country. All right, folks, you guys have an awesome weekend. Thanks for hanging out. Great to see you. Wealth Coffee Chat done and dusted. Take care. Bye for now. Cheers, folks.